ध्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकर्मस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् यथा सौम्य एकेन मृत्पिण्डेन सर्वं मृन्मयं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयम् मृत्तिकेत्येव सत्यम्। यथा सौम्य एकेन लोहमणिना सर्वं लोहमयं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयम् लोहमित्येव सत्यम्। यथा सौम्य एकेन नखनिकृन्तनेन सर्वं कार्ष्णायसं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयम् कृष्णायसमित्येव सत्यम्। एवं सौम्य सादेशो भवतीति कथन भगवत्सादेशो भवतीति। हे भगवान, हे revered sir, कथन सादेशो भवति? What's the nature of that adesha, or how can there be an adesha or upadesha or a truth or reality or tattva, an entity? By knowing one thing that everything is known, how can that be? Something most unfamiliar, that by knowing one thing, other thing can be known. By knowing a part, a cloth can be known, is never heard of. And sir, you are saying that by knowing that everything is as well known. How can that be? Yatha soumya ekena mritpindena sarvam mrunmayam vijñātam syāt. Hey Soumya, oh good looking one, just as by knowing one clod of earth, meaning by knowing the earth basically. Mritpinda grahanena karanabhutam mrunmatram grihhyate. Even though the Shruti use the word mritpinda, which means a lump of clay. However, what it means is just clay. That lumpness is a form which is not cause. The causality does not lie in the lumpness or in the form. Causality lies in the clayness. And so, clay is what is understood there. How he Somya, oh good looking one, by knowing clay, how everything made of clay, Gata Sharavadi Karanabhutena Mritpindena Vijnatena. So Mritpindena Vijnatena, that Vijnatena has to be understood there. How? That which is cause. What is meant by Mritpinda, or even by Mrit also, is Karanabhutena. So that which is of nature of cause of such utensils or vessels as a jar, as a pitcher, etc. So when Mrit or clay is known, Sarvam Anyat Tad Vikara Jatam, whatever is the Vikara, the transformation of Mrit, transformation of the clay is as well known. Katham mritpinde karane vijnate karyam anyat vijnatam syat. How can it be? How can it be by knowing the mrit or the clay, that everything made of clay is known? Because, again, the jar or a pot is a karyam, is an effect, is a transformation, and mrit is the cause, so effect is different from the cause. How do you say that? By knowing the cause, effect is known. Naisha dosha karanena ananyatvat karyasya. This is the Vedanta Siddhanta. Karyasya karanena ananyatvat. Because karyam, the effect, transformation, a product is non-different from karanam or the material cause. So we said, know the difference between ananyatvam and the abhedaha. Ananyatvam, vyatirekena abhavaha. So thing cannot be without which. So we say that the effect is non-different from cause because the effect cannot exist without the material cause. Abheda is both of them are identical. Both of them are one. Even though they are referred to by different names, both of them are one. That is called abheda. So that kind of oneness is not meant between the material cause and effect. What is meant is ananyatvam, non-separatedness. Yan manyase anyasmin vijñāte anyat na jñāyate. That you believe or think that by knowing one thing, other cannot be known, saptimevam syat. That would have been true. What you say, that by knowing one thing, other thing cannot be known, would have been true. Yadi anyat karanat karyam syat, yadi karyam karanat anyat syat, if the effect was separate from the cause, then what you say would have been true. Natu evam anyat karanat karyam. But as we see, the karyam, the effect of transformation is, so effect is not different from material cause. So then we say, Vyavahara Alambanatve. So, अन्यत्व भावे लोक प्रसिद्धि विरोधम शंकते. If you are saying that karyam or the effect is not different from, non-separate from cause, material cause, then how come people think they are different? It's called loka prasiddhi, what is familiar to the people, or what people generally know, and that also must be respected. What people say should be respected unless there is reason not to respect it. So loka prasiddhi, all loka prasiddhi means what is familiar to the people should also be taken as pramanam unless otherwise. So loka prasiddhi virodham shankare. But in the world, loka, in the world, the karyam, the effect, is always thought to be different from the cause. Kam tari idam loke idam karanam ayam asya vikara iti. How come people say that this is the cause and this is it, vikara, transformation? How come people refer to them as different from each other? Shrunu. So here, as we said, so how there is difference and still not difference? Because people say that the effect is different from cause, there is some kind of difference. But because when you look at the nature of effect, you find that it does not possess a reality other than cause, therefore there is not difference also. So this is very reconciled. So therefore the Vedantic teachers seek to reconcile our experiences with what the reality is. That's important. Our experience seems to be that the karyam, the effect is different. Because we call this pot, we don't call it clay. If this was clay, then people don't call it clay. People call it pot. So when a different name is given, that means some kind of difference is there, which is what people feel. Intrinsically, or your gut feeling is somehow that there's some difference. Had some difference not been there between pot and clay, why would people call this pot? Why don't they continue to call it clay? The fact that this is pot and this is clay means that you would admit some difference there. Shrunu, listen. Vacharambhanam, Vagarambhanam, Vag alambanam ityetat. Vacha arambhanam is not so. Vacha arambhanam is the third case, understand. It's not a compound. Compound would mean Vagarambhanam, Had it been samasa, it would have been Vagarambhanam. But then what is Vacha means the third case, by speech. Arambhanam means that which is begun. Arambha. And so that which is beginning, which has its beginning in the speech. That which has its beginning in speech. Meaning Vagalambanam, that which depends upon the speech. So Vikara, what is Vikara? A transformation such as a pot has its basis only on the speech. Koso Vikara Namadheyam, Nama eva Namadheyam, Swarthe Dheya Pratyaya. That by adding a suffix Dheya, it does not change the meaning. That's called Swarthe Pratyaya. Meaning that Namadheyam means Nama, means name. So what is Vikara such as a pot is nothing but the name or the word pot, that's all it is. Vag alambana matram, merely dependent upon the speech. Nam eva kevalam, that a pot is nothing more than the word pot. Kevalam, nothing more than the word pot. Na vikaro nama vastu asti paramarthatah. In reality, vertical transformation such as a pot is not a vastu, is not a substance, is not a real thing. Paramarthatah. When you look at it from the standpoint of reality, when you look at it from the standpoint of usefulness, then some difference is there. But when you look at it from the standpoint of reality, there is no difference. So Vedantins accept the difference in terms of usefulness, but they say that usefulness does not determine the reality. Just because this pot is useful in terms of fetching water, or filling water, or doing a variety of other things, that usefulness is not the criterion for determining the reality of the pot. What's the criterion? What is reality? Which is abhaditam, that which cannot be negated. In a pot, what is a non-negatable part? The clay is a non-negatable part. As far as the form is concerned, even usefulness is concerned, it is only incidental. Because the part breaks, when its name changes, its usefulness also changes. So what we call the form and the name and the usefulness, all of these are temporary, all of the incidental, not intrinsic. Thus everything is a union of something intrinsic and something incidental. And so Vedantins say that the name, the form, the movement, the action, the usefulness that everything has, which is called creation anyway, called value addition, So you are given this yarn and you make a cloth, weave a cloth out of that. The yarn remains yarn. So what's it? Some value has been added into that in terms of money or in terms of usefulness. And the cloth is there, and then you dye that cloth. Again, the substance remains the same, but something has changed in terms of its usefulness, etc. So this is called creation, understand? Creation is supplying some so-called usefulness. Usefulness is what? In vyavahara, in day-to-day life. If that usefulness was a real usefulness, then we would say okay. Meaning that the pot is useful in filling water. If that filling water added some value to you, to the self, then we would say that that is real. If self of the Atma becomes bigger than what it is because of filling water, because of drinking water, because of all that vyavahara, if whatever is going on in vyavahara, eating, drinking, walking, sleeping, eating, even growing, becoming wealthy, becoming well known, going to heaven, taking tours, whatever vyavahara is there. If any of that vyavahara was useful in the real sense, what is useful? If it intrinsically added any value to Atma. What is Atma? Satchidananda. If Satchidananda was in any way better than before, by all that usefulness, then we'll say that usefulness is really useful. But all of this does not add any intrinsic value to Atma. See why Vedantins are very clear about things. They are not insensitive about vyavahara, not insensitive about usefulness. We respect it. We respect the fact that people need it because of ignorance. But understand that its value is because of ignorance. That something makes me more prosperous, and then when the prosperity is a value to me, is because of ignorance of not knowing how prosperous I already am. That name and fame are useful to me so right now because I do not know how famous Atma is. Not knowing what I am, that is why all these things have become useful and valuable to me. And the tragedy in life is that I in fact sacrifice my value, I give them a great value, I raise them to high status, the name, fame, etc., and consider them more valuable than me, so that I am even willing to sacrifice my values or Atma for the sake of that. So whenever, for example, I sacrifice a value, that means I have sacrificed Atma for the sake of these material things. So all this usefulness and value is because of ignorance, not in reality. It would have been called valuable had in reality it added some value to you. But you think it is adding value to you, it is adding value to your temporary or incidental aspect, namely your personality. Your ahankara, that's where the value is added. To your personality, that's where the value is added. And you think that adding value to personality is adding value to you. No, this is false. all due to ignorance. So Vedanta didn't say that. We don't say that there's a it is value of this person. Paramarthatah na vikaro nama vastu asti paramarthatah. That's important. That paramarthatah, from the standpoint of reality, na vikaro nama vastu asti. There is no vastu, so that is called vikara or transformation. Doesn't have reality in the real sense. Reality in real sense. It is reality in some sense, in vyavaharik sense. Mrittika ityeva tu satyam. Mrittika iti. That iti is what? Iti shabda prakara vachana. Whatever prakara, whatever mrittika is, what is mrittika? Mrittika here means the upadana karanam, material cause. Iti. Mrittika iti. Mrittika prakaravat ityartha. This iti is very important. If iti was not there, then mrittika meaning clay is the reality. But as the clay is reality in the example of clay and pot, so also meaning that the upadana karanam is reality. That's what is meant there. In any case, upadana karanam, the material cause is the reality of vikara or transformation. tat prakarasya upadanatvam mrittika prakaravat moola karanam satyam. Just as in case of pot, mrittika or clay is moola karanam, and that is satyam. And so also, in any case, whatever is moola karanam, we admit that mrittika is not moola karanam. Mrittika is not the fundamental cause, but in this example. Thus, in search of fundamental cause, every effect dissolves into its material cause. Every effect, such as a part, dissolves into its material cause. Meaning that when you inquire what a part is, it turns out to be clay. Then when you further inquire what clay is, it turns out to be earth and molecules and atoms and subatomic particles. And if you continue this process, it leads to what? Sat. That's why this Upanishad begins with Sat. It just resolves into the most fundamental cause, namely existence. Because the form and the name are incidental. Therefore, in the process of resolving, the form and name, they resolve into a subtler form and name, which resolve into yet subtler form and name, and thus ultimately the resolving has to lead to a subtlest name and form. What is subtlest? Which is not a name and form. So this process has to lead to that which is devoid of name and form, nirvishesham vastu. That is the moola karanam, and that is reality. So it is said that paramanasatah vikara abhavepi anirvachaniyasya tasya sattvat na doshah. So Vedantis do not say that the effect is identical to cause, They say it is non-separate from cause. So non-separate means what? Some kind of difference is there, What is it? Anirvachaniya. So effect is anirvachaniya, is different from the material cause in an undefinable, inexplicable way. Not paramarthata. In reality, effect is not different from, it is identical to the cause. In reality, effect is identical to cause. But in vyavahara, effect is non-different from the cause. In reality, effect is identical to material cause. But in vyavahara, effect is non-different from the material cause, meaning that in vyavahara, we accept some kind of difference between the clay and the pot, which difference is called anirvachaniya. So anirvachaniyasya tasya sattvat. So vikarasya sattvat. In some way we say that vikara is. A transformation is. What is isness? Anirvachaniya. That isness is not the real isness, but then inexplicable isness is there. That's how mithyatvam comes. So this one sentence has a base of whole Vedanta. Or put it this way, that this one sentence serves the purpose of the Vedantins in justifying, the principle. What is the principle? That what is Ishvara. Vedanta is no axe to grind. It just says Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. That's Mahavakya. It does not produce its own Vakya. Whatever is Brahman. Tattvamasi, that thou art, you are Brahman. Means what is Brahman, what is limitless, what is Ishvara, what is reality. That's the basis. Then you explain everything else. Not that you arrive at that from this Vyavahara. You explain Vyavahara based on that. Other people arrive at the truth from Vyavahara. He says, no. For us the Upanishad is Pramana. Upanishad says, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Upanishad says, Sadeva Somya Idam Agra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. That's all. That one and non-dual Sat alone is what is. Everything else is incidental. That's called creation. All stories are about incidental, no story about the real thing. All long descriptions will be about creation. So Kalmayata, Bhausyam, Tadaikshara, etc., etc. And therefore, an anirvachaniya difference is accepted between the cause, material cause, and the effect, but not the essential difference. In essence, effect is identical to cause. Evam somya sa adesho bhavadeti. He somya, in this way is that adesha, that instruction as to how, by knowing one, everything becomes known. Going to page 213, says Bhashyakara, or if you look at the Narayananandendra Saraswati Tika on the page, on the line 21 on that page 213, we were reading something there, page 212 yesterday. Yeah, okay. Line 15. Vidya prakashetu adhara adhyatmakam karanakaya rupadvayam militam ghata iti uchyate. What is ghata? We said ghata or a part is made up of two aspects. We said incidental, intrinsic and incidental. Essential and incidental. Like an actor assuming the role of a beggar. The beggar is incidental, the actor is essential. Thus the truth always comes in a certain vesha. What is creation? The truth or God assuming a certain costume. What is the costume? Name and form. You can say that the upadana karanam, the material cause also assumes a costume of name and form and comes out of the effect. So what is a part? Clay assuming the costume of a name and form. Here Vidyaranya Swami says that adhara adhyatmakam. He says clay is the adhara and the form and name of the part is adheya. Adhara, the basis, supported. Adheya, what is based. Generally speaking, you can say that the table is adhara, the clock is adheya. In case of a pot, the clay is adhara. So, what is this pot based on? Pot is not on the table, that's one way, but then really pot is based on what? On clay. So just as when the pot is on the table, you remove the table, the pot falls down. Similarly also, in this case, remove the clay and the pot doesn't remain. So clay is called the adhara, the basis. And the pot, meaning name and form, is called adheya. So that which is based, support, and what is supported. Container, what is contained sometimes. So karanakara rupadvayam militam ghata iti uchyate. In this pot, both the elements are present. Karana also is there and karyam also is there. In this pot, karanam is there, the clay is there, and karyam is there, name and form also are there. So what is karanam? Adhara. The material cause is adhara. What is effect? So what is created really? What is created in this pot? If you have seen the pot before its creation, it was nothing but a lump of clay. And then when the pot maker makes the pot out of that clay you recognize. So you know that clay part is not created. What's the part created? The form and the name. So form and name is called pot. That is called karya. And the clay is the karanam, the material cause. So what's the pot? Karana, karupadvayam, militam ghata iti uchyate. Thus, the material cause and the effect together is called pot. Tatra adharamshe jnate vastu jnatameva. So what's the vastu in here? What's the reality? Reality is the clay. Therefore, adharamshe jnate. When the adharamsha, when the what is the basis? When that is known, then the pot is known. That is what Vedanta says. When you know the clay, you have known the pot. Go puchya sparshe, go sparshavat iti uktam. Like when you touch the cow's part, then the whole cow is touched. To touch the cow, you need not have to, completely massage the cow or something like that. Just touch one part. Amsha. So by touching the amsha of the cow, you touch the cow. So by knowing the amsha of this part, you know the part. Tathahu akrutyadhara bhago yah ghatasya tu buddhyate. Akruti adhara bhagaha. What's the adhara? The adhara, akruti adhara. What is the basis of akruti of the form of the pot? The buddhyate. So when that is known. Adhara matra bhage jnate jnato ghato bhavet. So when you know the adhara amsha, the clay, then the pot becomes known. Gopuchya matra samsparshat gosparsha vrata purtivata. Just as by touching the tail of the cow, you as well touch the cow. Akurte yadvadajnane ghatagnanam tvaya uchyate. People are not satisfied with this reasoning. But knowing this as clay, how do you know it as pot? But you don't know the akruti. You don't know the volume. You don't know the way. You don't know when the usefulness, when it was made, who made. All these things you do not know by knowing the clay. So he says that if you do not know the akruti, if you do not know the form, etc., then you do not really know the pot. So what is akruti? Adheya. So it says, by not knowing the adheya amsha, the adheya part, if you do not know, you do not know the pot. So then author says that if by not knowing part, if you say the whole is not known, you see, now it's the other way around. We say that by knowing the part, namely clay, the pot is known. He says if you do not know the form of the part, then you have not really known the part, even if you have known it as clay. Which means that by not knowing the part, you have not known the whole. If by not knowing the part, you do not know the whole, then by knowing the part, you know the whole also. Is it not so? If by not knowing the part, see A is equal to B, so minus A is equal to minus B. So if by not knowing the part, if you have not known the whole, then by knowing the part, namely clay, you have known the whole also, namely part. This is a way of arguing, of shutting people, that's all. Prakarantarena api sarvijnanam tatraiva uktam. Prakarantarena api, in another manner also, how by knowing the clay, that you have known everything made of clay, that's what Anubhuti Prakash also says. Vikarena amsha adarena jnatavya. So when you know something, there is some aspect of it which has to be known with great reverence or respect. Adarena jnatavya. So when you know a Swami, then you know his good qualities, any person. Then what dress he has, what kind of hairstyle he has, what kind of shoes he puts on, all that thing you may want to know. But there is no great adar. All those things become objects of inquiry because the person. In a person there is an amsha which is something important. That he is a political leader, what is important is whatever political skills and leadership is, that is important. Not whether it is Tamil language or Hindi language. That is secondary. His height is 5 feet 2 inches or 5 feet 9 is secondary. Mahatma Gandhi, what his height was, what his speech was, how his mouth looked, etc. is all, is all immaterial. What is adarena jnatavya? How great that person was, how loving that person was, how large-hearted that person was, etc., etc. Thus, what makes a person what that person is, it is not the height that makes that person what he is, understand? It is not the clothes that make the person, he is wearing what? Only loin cloth, Go to King of England, or the Queen of England, wow, what kind of clothes they wear. So the clothes that make that person what that person is. It is something in that person which makes what the person is. Adarena jnatavya. That amsha, that aspect has to be known, adarena, with respect. Thus in everything, there is something that is to be known with respect because it is what makes the thing what it is, and there are other details also to be known about that thing. Then you may want to know where Gandhi was born and what was all that stuff also. It's okay. We want to know those things. Okay. But why would you want to know? You don't take any Tom, Dick and Harry and want to know where this fellow was born. Who cares? How come we care for this person, where was he born? Because of what that person was. So there is amsha, one part which is what? Adarena jnatavya. So that is to be known with adara, with respect, which is important. And other is unimportant. Sarvopi upadana vijnayana jnayate. Similarly also, in this part, which amsha, which part is to be known with, which is important, which will be known definitely, jnatavya. Adarena jnatavya, which must be known with commitment, with respect. What is it? That is the clay, the upadana karanam, and by knowing that, the part is known. So first, then, this Tikakara himself is tadapi uktam. Therefore, it is said there where Anubhuti Prakasha. It just incidentally it happens that, that's the text we are going to study, and so this is like a glimpse of that. It's a tough job, reading these verses, that is not an easy task because Vidyaranya Swami. Satyaya mruditatparyam namrutesti ghatadike. in the pot, satyaya mrudi tatparyam, the mrut or the clay, which is satya, which is real tatparyam. That's where the purport is. Na anute asti ghatadike. As far as the form etc. is concerned, they are all secondary. The form and usefulness even comes to your notice because of clay. Had clay not been there in this object, then its form, usefulness would not have been there, and the question would not arise. If Mahatma Gandhi was not great, the question is where was he born would not have arisen. Similarly, what is its volume? What is its height? All those details become important because of what? Because of clay. And therefore, satyaya mrudi tatparyam. In case of this pot, tatparya, the real purport, the real important thing is mrut or the clay, which is satya, which is reality of this pot. Na anurute ghatadike asti. Ghatadikam, whether it is pot, etc., so potness, etc., is anutam, is incidental, unimportant. Now gives an example. Iksho rasos trijisham cha rasam grannati buddhiman. Take the ikshu, means sugar cane. In sugar cane there are two aspects. One is rasa, one is the juice, other is the rest. It is called rujisha. Rujisha means all the other aspects of the sugar cane. So, the sugar cane also has these two aspects. It is a stem and then it has all these fibers and stuff like that. And then it is the juice, rasa. Ikshav rasa to rujisham cha. Both are there. Ikshav, meaning in the sugar cane, rasa also is there, rujisha also is there. Rasam grannati buddhiman. So buddhiman takes what? Rasam. The buddhiman person extracts the juice out of that and discards the rest. Na rujisham eva na grannati. Rujisham, that goes to the first line. The rujisham he does not take. Kumbhepi mrudbhage yukta adaraha. In kumbha also, in a pot also, the adaraha, the respect is, the importance is given to mrudbhaga, the clay aspect. Ye ghatadishu mrudbhagaha jnatavyaha adarena te. Ghatadishu, in pot etc., ye mrudbhagaha, the aspect called the mrut or the clay, te adarena jnatavyaha. So they are to be known with reverence, with respect. Sarvepi rashi vijnanadeva jnata bhavanti. Rashi here means clay. So by knowing the clay, all other aspects also are as well known. Mrudah aikyepi sarvatvam akarai tat upadhivihi. From the clay, so many pots and pans are made, so many akaras, so many forms are made. But mruda aikyepi, because the clay is one in all the different pots and pans. Akarai tad upadhivihi sarvatvam. And therefore, clay pervades in all the form, which are upadhi. So name and form is the upadhi. Upadhi means incidental thing. A limiting adjunct or the incidental thing. Nirupadika vijnanat sarvopahita dhir bhavet. So therefore, there is one nirupadikam and upahitam. In the pot, nirupadikam, that which is devoid of upadhi, nirupadi, unconditioned. In the pot there is a unconditioned aspect which is the clay, and the form and name are the upadhi, the conditionings. Nirupadika vijnanat, by the vijnanam, by the knowledge of nirupadika, unconditioned, sarva upahita dhir bhavet, automatically the knowledge of the pot takes place. When you look at this pot, and when you know the clay, then automatically knowledge of form takes place. Is it not so? When you look at the pot, when you see the clay there, you don't miss the form automatically is included in clay. The knowledge of form is included in knowledge of clay. So sarva upahita dhir bhave. Therefore, the perception of the upahita, the conditioning automatically happens. Iti. So Tikakara says, sarvasya tattvavid vijnanam bhavati upadana vijnanena iti granthokta prakaraha. Therefore, that grantha, what grantha? Anubhuti prakash, says upadana vijnanena, by the vijnanam, by the knowledge of upadanam, or the material cause, tattvavid vijnanam bhavati. And so, tattva. So, tattva vijnanam, the knowledge of tattva takes place, knowledge of truth takes place by knowing the upadanam. Now, I should say grantha means this, our Chhandogya. Vidya prakashoktastu. The Vidya prakasha means that Anubhuti prakasha says, Karyagata ekamsha vijnanat amshi vijnayate iti. Karanagata ekamsha vijnanat. Ekamsha, the adhara amsha. The what's the basis in this karya of the pot? By knowing that basis, in this case clay, then amshi vijnayate, the pot is known. So pot is amshi and pot is two amsha, the karana and the karya, the adhara and the adhya, the intrinsic and the incidental. By knowing the intrinsic, the amshi, the pot is known. So this is prathama. That is the one way of explaining. Second was vidyastu sarvatra adharena jnatavyasya jnanat sarvijnanate vivekah. In the universe also, what is adartavyam? So what is it that is respectful? That because of it the universe is. The universe, no doubt, is all names. The universe also has two aspects in there. One is asti bhati priyam. Second was rupam nama iti yamsa panchakam. Adyatrayam brahma rupam jagad rupam tatodvayam. The first three, asti bhati priyam, is brahma rupam. The name and form is jagad rupam, is superimposition, is creation. In that, what is that deserves the respect? That because of its name and form is. So asti bhati priyam does not require name and form. But name and form require asti bhati priyam. So that which, because of which the universe is. That without which the universe would not be. Machthani sarvabhutani nachaham tesha avasthitah. They are all in fact because of me. I am not because of them. So that because of which everything is deserves your respect. And therefore, everywhere, whatever is the adharena jnatavya. So in everywhere, what is upadana, what is the amsha? What is amsha? That is the ekamsha, the adhara amsha. Either you know that and you have known the thing, or you know that which is respectful, which is important. Everything consists of important as well as unimportant. What is samsara? Giving importance to the unimportant. What is samsara? What is the height of Mahatma Gandhi? What words did he speak? How many mistakes grammatically he made? Things like that, So as Rakhandanandi writes in one place, he says, once upon a time, a man came to a Mahatma, a scholar came to a Mahatma and said to Mahatma, in this Guru Granth Sahib, so many ashuddhis are there, so many grammatical mistakes are there in Guru Granth Sahib. So Mahatma says, okay, you do something that I tell you. Says, take a paper and pen. Now look at me and write what I am telling you to write. So you have to look at that and write here. In 3 minutes, that showed how many mistakes this fellow had made. He said, देखो भाई, ये जो नानक साहब थे, वो तो भगवान की ओर देखते थे और लिखते थे, ज्ञान देख के नहीं लिखते थे. So important is what? भगवान की ओर देखना. So therefore, in the Guru Granth Sahib, we say adartavyamsha. Don't discard it because there are grammatical mistakes and stuff like that. What is substance there? In the universe also, what is the substance? Asti bhati priyam. And don't discard that because the name and form is miserable. So we are discarding asti bhati priyam because name and form is no good, What kind of language is this? What kind of name is this? What kind of form is this? All these incidental things become important. That's called samsara. And therefore, the important thing is lost sight of. That's called Maya. So Maya somehow creates importance for that which is not important in our own self. Maya creates importance for that which is not important, the name and form. And the important thing for our own self also is left sight of. So you can see why Maya comes in. So Mithya, Maya, all of these things are for this purpose. Because there is something like this. There is some problem, in the basic problem. What is the basic problem? What is important is lost sight of. What is not important is given importance for the whole world. That's why it's called Maya. Pitva mohamayim pramadamadiram unmattabhutam jagat. Mohamayim pramadamadiram pitva. The whole world is intoxicated, having drunk the intoxicating moha. The madira, or the alcohol, the nature of moha, delusion, the whole universe is intoxicated. So what the whole universe is does not become truth. But its truth is truth. So this is how Vidyananda Swami explains. So very important contribution of these teachers. Same thing is taken. They don't give you different truth. Then you won't accept it. But then this statement is there, Vacharammanam vikaram navadayam mrityiketyeva satyam, other way of understanding that, other way of contemplating upon that. So Bhashyakara has provided one way of contemplating upon the sentence, other teachers also provide other ways of contemplation. That's their contribution. So contribution of a teacher is not in revising truth, is in giving us other methods of contemplating upon the truth. Why so many examples are given? That on the page 213, again in line 21, says in Narayana and Saraswati, Edaduktam bhavati ekasmin mudrishtante ukte mrudvikaranam mrudvijnanena jnatavepi tata vilakshananam tej adibhutanam tadvikaranam cha katham sadvijnanena jnatatvam iti shanka syat. 3 examples are given. Only one example was given. Ekasmin mrudrishtante ukte. If the example of clay alone was given. Mrudvikaranam mrudvijnanena jnatatvepi. It is true that knowing the clay, whatever is transformation of clay is known. But then different from clay. Like fire is different from clay. Clay is earth. The water is different from earth. How you would not know the vikaras of that, So tad vikaranam cha katham. So similarly, since there are all this variety of diversity here, therefore the diverse examples are given. That in any case, knowing the material cause, a thing becomes known, and knowing the most basic material cause, everything becomes known. So lohamanyadi aneka dushtanteshu ukteshu tu vilakshanapi bahuna karanajnanena jnatatva darshanat. Things that are vilakshana. Different lakshana having different clay. Lakshana of clay is one. Water is different in lakshana, has a different kind of characteristic. Fire is that other element and so on. And so, whatever is different from clay, etc., by knowing the fundamental material cause, everything becomes known. Prakruteshu api tej adishu jnatatva sambhavana syat. In this case, earth also, water also, fire also. So by many examples, there is now shows the possibility that by knowing material cause, all those diverse things also will be known. So Vashyakara said, Aneka Dushtanta Upadanam Dashtantika Aneka Bheda Anugamartham. The reason why so many Dushtanta or illustrations are given is because Darshtanta, what is illustrated, namely the universe, which has such diversity and disparity, that all of that can be known, will be known. Drudha pratityartham cha, and sometimes same thing is repeated in different way for drudha pratiti, so that from conviction becomes firm. So says the Tikakara here, yad yat karyam tat tat karana jnana jnatamiti. Yad yat karyam, what the effect is, it is known by the material cause. So three examples are given to make this firm, that wherever the cause is, wherever the effect is known by knowing the material cause. Iti vyapte drudha pratipattir bhavati. Therefore, by three examples, the vyapti, the universal rule is now understood. What is it? That wherever the karya, the effect is there, the effect can be known by knowing the material cause. So, yatra yatra dhuma, tatra tatra vandihi. Wherever the smoke is, there the fire is, has to be known yatha mahanase, just as in your kitchen. But that one example is not enough. You saw it in the kitchen also, you saw it also in your holi, so in many places. So many examples are to be given. To make a universal rule, one observation is not enough. Just because it happened in one place doesn't become in. That's why scientists will want to conduct an experiment again and again in different conditions. At different times, different places and different conditions, and if that rule holds, then alone it becomes a law. So just because an apple fell, that doesn't establish a rule. Anything that falls. So many things were actually dropped and so many observations must have been taken. And consistently they must have found that an object falls with certain acceleration. Then alone it becomes a rule. So therefore also here, the vyapti. What is the vyapti? Yad yat karyam tat tat karana jnana jnatamiti. So whatever is karyam, whatever effect is known by knowing the material cause. Iti vyapte drudha pratipattir bhavati. That becomes very firmly rooted in the mind of the student. Bahushu drishtanteshu bhuyo darshan sambhavadityartha. Because when many examples are given, therefore you see it again and again and becomes firm. That is why if you want to learn how to decline, suppose the words ending with akara, Rama, how to decline that, don't just learn Rama only. Then at the end of the lesson, so many names are given, Nrupa, Bhupa, etc. So akara, so many words are given. What we were doing is, we will decline all of them. Nrupaha, Nrupahu, Nrupaha, etc. Bhupaha, so Bhupaha, we do all of them. That is when the declension becomes very firm. Therefore, this repetition is for that purpose here. Okay, so that is how Prathamaha Khanda. Iti Chhandogya Upanishad Sashtadhyayasya Prathamaha Khanda. Is it not so? Or one still remains, the seventh passage still remains. Yeah. So Vashyakara says on the page 213 now, Evam Somya Sahadesha Yaha Maya Ukto Bhavati Iti Uktavati Pitare Aha Itaraha Evam Somya Sahadesha Bhavati. That's what the last passage said. Evam Somya Sahadesha Bhavati. Hey Somya, O Priyadarshana, this is the nature of the Adesha, nature of the instruction. As to how, by knowing one thing, everything becomes known. Yo Maya Uktaha, the Adesha, instruction that I say. Iti Uktavati Pitare, Seventh case. So father who said this to that father, Itaraha aha. Other one meaning the son said. To the father who said like this, to that father, the son said this. The next passage says, Navai nunam bhagavantaha ta etat avedishuhu yadhi etat avedishyan katham me navakshan iti bhagavamstu eva me tad bravitu iti tatha somya iti hovacha. So when he heard something adbhutam, something extraordinary, he realized that, yeah, this also makes sense. Then immediately Shvetaketu came to his defense. Then, did you ask for this instruction? He had not asked for this instruction. He doesn't know this. So he is afraid that his father is all right, then go back and ask for this instruction. So to avert that kind of possibility, Shvetaketu comes in his own defense. As to how I do not know. It's not my fault, my father. Sir, it is not my fault. Navai nunam bhagavanta te tat avedishuhu. My teachers did not certainly know this adesha. Why do you say that? Yaddi etat avedishyan katham mena vakshaniti. If they had known, how come they would not have told me? They would have told me, they would have taught me. Iti. Father sees this, but anyway, he forgives the son. Bhagavan stueva me tad brahmitu iti. The revered sir, may please tell me about this adesha. Tatha somyeti hovacha. Okay, my dear boy, I will do that. That's the kindness of the father. Regardless of how the son is, the son also became mellowed down. And he was what? Stabda, unbending, stiff. He bent down. My father, revered sir, may please teach me. All right, my boy, I will certainly do that. Says Anandagiri, Nava ityadi pratikam adaya vyachaste. Navai. So, Bhashyakara takes the pratika first and then vyachaste, use the vyakhya. So, Bhashyakara says, Navai nunam. So, this is pratika. Navai nunam are the words of the next passage with which Bhashyakara begins. Bhagavantaha, Pujavantaha, Guruvah mama yete etat yad bhavaduktam vastu na avedishuhu na vijnatavantah nunam. So this is Vyakhya. Navai nunam, the first is not Vyakhya, is Pratika. Take the first words. Bhashyakara says that this is explanation. So explanation follows from Bhagavanta. Because Navai Nunam is coming later also. Bhagavanta, Pujavanta. Bhagavanta refers to his Guru. In reverence also uses plural. So Shvetaketu certainly uses plural for referring to his teacher, which was a reverence. Bhagavanta means Bhagavan in fact. And so the revered sir, my teachers, me mama ye guravah, those gurus of mine, te etat yad bhavaduktam vastu na vedishuhu. Sir, I think that my guru did not know the thing that you have said. What your revered sir has said, my teachers certainly na vijnatavanta nunam. Certainly they did not know that. Tesham ajnana hetumaha. What makes Shvetaketu think that his teacher did not know this? So gives a reason. Yada yadi hi avedishyan vididavantah एतद्वस्तु कथं मे गुणवते भक्ताय अनुगताय न वक्ष्यन् न उक्तवन्तः तेनाहं मन्ये न विदितवन्त इति. Says yad means yadi. If he avedishan viditavantah etad vastu, if my teacher knew this vastu that you told me, katham me gunavate bhaktaya anugataya na vakshan, then how come they would not have told me? They taught everything that they knew. And they may not teach to everybody, but I was a worthy student. Gunavate, meritorious. Bhaktaya, I was devoted. Anugataya, obedient. So I who was meritorious, possessing good merits, I who was a devotee of the teacher, I who was very obedient to the teacher, I was an ideal student, and therefore the teacher would certainly have taught me, if not to anybody else. And so, meaning that I am quite sure that the teacher has taught me everything that he knew. If he knew this, see, why should he not have told me? That shows his self-confidence also. That gunavate, bhaktaya, anugataya, meritorious, a devoted student, an obedient student. Tenahamanye na viditavantah iti. Because of that reason, I believe that they did not know. Because they did not teach me. Who is a worthy student? Says Anandagiri, Nanu Svetaketu Gurunam Ajnanam Achakshana Gurudrohi Pratyavayasya. Svetaketu revealed the ignorance of his teacher, which should never be done. Meaning that even if there are dosha or even if there are shortcomings in the Guru, in anybody, why Guru? But particularly Guru in this case, it should never be talked about. What you talk about are the worthiness of the Guru, the greatness of the Guru, and never the shortcomings or the defects of the Guru. So Svetaketuhu Gurunam Ajnanam Achakshana, and he has revealed the ignorance of his teacher before his father, Guru Drohi Pratyavayisyat, Guru Drohi, and that's how he has done the Droha. He has violated his trust. The Guru has a trust also, his mutual trust. He is violated. Pratyavayisyat, he certainly will incur sin. Iti ashankya, Bhashyakara says, Avachyamapi Guroho Nyagbhavam Avadid Punah Gurukulam Prati Preshana Bhayat. Avachyamapi, what should not be uttered? Davachyam. Guroho Nyagbhavam, says Narendra Prabhu, Nyagбhavaha Nihinatvam Vishishta Jnana Shunyatvam Ityartha. Deficiency. Nyagбhavaha means what? The degradation, contempt actually. Nyagбhava. You show degradation or contempt. In this case, they reveal the dosha or the deficiency of the teacher. Avadit. Shvetaketu said that even though it is not right to say that. Why? Because he was afraid. Punaha Gurukulam Prati Preshana Bhayat. He was afraid that his father would send him back to the Guru and he did not want to go. Therefore, in defense, he said it. So Bhashyakara gives some kind of a defense for Shvetaketu. It's okay. Shvetaketu said it because he was afraid that he had to go back there. अतः भगवान तो एव मे मह्यम तद्वस्तु येन सर्वज्ञत्वं ज्ञातेन मे स्यात् तद्ब्रवीतु कथयतु इत्युक्तः पिता उवाच तथास्तु सौम्येति. See, text says Somya and the Bhashan, the Bhashya is Soumya. Soumya is a word. But here we find Soumya said everywhere. The text is Soumya. So what comes from Soma? Soma is moon. And Soumya is Buddha, is like moon-like. You know how moon is pleasing. So one is pleasing, like moon, is called Soumya. Soumya means that also is okay, I guess, you know. Sumasya bhava saumyam, that must be so. Ataha, what is ataha? Says Anandagiri, Gurunam Ajnanam Atah Shabdartha Ataha. Since the teachers did not know that, Bhagavan Toeva me Mahyam Tadvastu Vadatu Pravitu. Your revered sir, may please teach me that vastu. Yena Jnatena. So Sarvajnatvam comes after me. Yena Jnatena me Sarvajnatvam Syat. By knowing which I become Sarvajna. That vastu, your revered sir, may please tell me. Bravitu means Kathayatu. Ityuktha Pita Uvacha. When father was told like this, Uvacha Tathastu Somyede. Oh my dear one, my dear, let it be so. Tathastu. In Narendra Punayam Tippanam, the last line, 14th line, Sthaulya Dharmakasya Bhadyatva, I think that really should be connected to the next passage, So we'll see next time, next tomorrow. Now we can say, Iti Chhandogya Upanishadi, Shashtadhyayasya Prathamaha Khandaha. The first khanda of the sixth chapter is thus complete. Some footnotes also need to be read. We'll do that tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadyata Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.